If you do not want to learn the secret that will embed your very presence upon the soul of a man you desire, please leave this page right now. The information I reveal to you is so powerful that if used unethically, can and will create male stalkers who depend on you emotionally, psychologically, and physically. What if I told you there is a forbidden love doctrine that literally allows you to carve your very presence into any man's mind, heart, body, and soul? Once applied, you'll be like a permanent tattoo forever, etched into his subconscious, forcing him to be 100% unequivocally faithful, loving, loyal, and monogamous both emotionally and physically for the rest of his existence. This forbidden love doctrine is so insanely powerful that he will desire not only to love you more than words can describe, but spend the rest of his days proving his devotion to you. After applying this, I absolutely guarantee you that he will no longer be interested in any other woman in any way, shape, or form. If you ever watched pornography in the past or oogled other women, he will instantly stop and become disgusted at himself for ever entertaining those thoughts. Because being with you, he will feel a rush of excitement, joy, and nervousness at the same time. When you send him a text, he'll read over and over again the same line. The two of you will be so close that your souls will somehow appear to rhyme. Because, after applying this, no one else but you will he ever allow to occupy the private space he has in his mind. And the best part is, you can start applying this secret tonight. But you must watch this presentation right now, as it may be your only chance. I'll explain why in a moment. You might think you've tried everything and heard it all before, but I can absolutely, unequivocally pledge to you that you've never heard or seen anything like this ever. Period. Don't worry, what I'm about to show you has nothing to do with being sneaky, unethical, or manipulative. It doesn't matter how old you are, what you look like, how much you weigh, if you're a single mom, if you've been divorced before, or how complicated you might think your situation is right now. It doesn't matter if in the past, he has rejected you before. Soon you'll secretly smile to yourself as you see that same man who once pushed you away, now trying to weasel his way back into your embrace and beg on both knees for another chance. Perhaps you're in a relationship with a man who isn't ready for commitment. Your man will suddenly realize, as if a bolt of lightning struck him, that you are the only woman in this world that can truly complete him. Because after using this, he'll realize the word love had no meaning for him during his entire lifetime. But now, because of you, finally that word now, he can truly define. And he'll be forever faithful to you, loving every moment the two of you experience till the end of time. My name is Jason. I'm a professional relationship coach for women. And before I reveal this secret to you, which has changed the lives of over 27,000 women around the world, I have good and bad news. First, the bad news. And I hope you're sitting down, because what I'm about to say might upset you. The truth is, no man has ever been 100% faithful to you. Maybe he cheated on you physically, or maybe he lusted or fantasized about what it would be like to have another woman. Another truth, a man doesn't need to have sex in order to cheat. Emotional cheating is the silent killer that slowly eats away at your relationships until it's too late. But here's the good news. I'm going to reveal a strange scientific secret about the male brain that will permanently destroy any desire he has about other women. Right now, you don't know how to trigger this secret part of his brain, and it's not your fault. You've never been told about this until now. But until you do learn this secret, the men in your life will always be driven by their biological programming. You've caught him staring, but as much as you hate it, he can't help it. The primal parts of his brain lock in on certain visual cues: large breasts, long hair, a curvy shape, and most of all, women who are younger than you. But you can't blame him. It's not about men being dogs. It's his biological primal programming, just like his ancestors from 10,000 years ago. And what happens when he is stuck in the cycle of constant sexual longing? He either cheats, or he begins to resent you because he subconsciously feels that you're holding him back. And this is why the next part is so critically important. German scientists have discovered a monogamy hormone inside the brain of every man, known as oxytocin. Remember when you first fell for a guy, when just thinking about him gave you goosebumps? This is called oxytocin. However, the effects diminish over time. Researchers conclude that it takes a maximum of 6 months for this monogamy hormone to wear off. So if you've been with a man more than 6 months, for him, the chemical effect is already gone. And if you just recently met someone, the clock is ticking because his feelings for you are slipping away like sand through an hourglass. But now, here's the good news. I'm about to show you how to trigger this hormone in any man's brain so that you will subconsciously force him to be absolutely 100% faithful, loving, monogamous, and loyal to you, only you, both physically and emotionally, for this lifetime and the next, starting tonight. But I stress that you need to watch this short presentation until the very end while it's still online. Multi-billion-dollar Fortune 500 companies are trying to suppress this information. Why? Because women around the world who learn this secret will no longer need to spend billions of dollars on cosmetics, shoes, fashion, and magazines and books that claim to show you how to be more attractive to men or how to keep the man you've got. Because there is one simple scientific secret that will trigger a chemical reaction in a man's brain that will force him to love you and be faithful to you on every level. But before we continue, a warning. The secret you're about to discover makes even the most hard-to-reach man become emotionally and physically addicted to you. So you must promise that you will only use this secret on a man who you truly want a committed relationship with. Because if you decide to stop seeing him, you might ruin him for all other women. Because he will long for you for the rest of his days. This may sound unbelievable, but I'm being 100% serious here. What you'll be creating will not be a temporary infatuation. This will be a lifelong love affair. He will swear up and down that he will be forever faithful to you and no one else but you. Because this space in his heart, mind, and soul will be reserved only for you. Thinking about you will become his new obsession. Missing you will be his main concern. Caring for you will be his job. Loving you will be his duty. And being faithful and monogamous to you will be his lifelong pleasure. How do I know this to be true? Well, let me tell you about one of my students, Claire. It was supposed to be the biggest night of her life. She'd spent 2 hours getting her hair and makeup just right because she thought tonight would be the night. She'd been dreaming about this, the moment when her boyfriend Rick would finally pop the question. It was their 3rd anniversary, and Rick had chosen the same cute little restaurant he had taken her to on their very first date. During dinner, Rick was nervous, fidgety, drinking faster than usual. This only made Claire more giddy with excitement. She thought this was a sign that he was getting ready to ask her to marry him. But then he drained his glass of wine with a huge gulp, exhaled a deep sigh, and said to her, "I love you, but I'm not in love with you anymore." Suddenly, Claire's world went blurry. She felt like a dagger has been plunged into her heart. She became dizzy. Rick kept talking and she could hear his words echoing faintly in her ears, but she couldn't process what he was saying. He was saying that he'd met someone else. Then, for the next few minutes, which felt like an eternity, Claire just couldn't believe what was being told to her. All she could feel were burning tears streaming down her cheeks, a churning sickness in her stomach, and a feeling of furious anger. How could he say these things to her on this night? Eventually, Rick excused himself to go to the bathroom, and that's when Claire noticed he had left his phone on the table. In a flash of impulsiveness, Claire grabbed Rick's phone and began to scroll through his latest messages and emails, and that's when she knew it was all horribly true. He texted a woman just an hour ago to tell her, "I'm going to break the news to Claire tonight. Love you, babe. See you later." As Claire scrolled through his emails and texts, she saw that this affair had been going on for at least a year. The worst part? Claire knew this other woman. She even considered her a friend. This other woman was a few years younger than Claire, but physically, she didn't seem more attractive. I'll tell you how Claire got her sweet revenge in a moment. But first, let me tell you the moral of this story. Sometimes love isn't enough. Men cheat on women they claim to love. Men abandon their families because the caveman part of their brain tricks them into thinking they'll be happier with someone else. Someone prettier, someone younger, or just someone new. After that, Claire sank into a deep, soul-crushing depression. For weeks she was barely able to eat or sleep. Until one fateful Saturday night, while surfing the internet, she came across an article I'd written about getting through the pain of a breakup. She contacted me out of desperation and told me her emotional story. How the men she dated and loved always seemed to pull away. As luck would have it, I was in the process of creating a new course for women that would integrate some breakthrough findings from Bonn University Medical Center in Germany. Their team had studied the effect of the hormone oxytocin on men. Dr. Renee Herleman, an executive senior physician who worked on the study, noted that an important role in partner bonding is played by the hormone oxytocin, which is secreted in the brain. In fact, this same chemical is responsible for helping infants bond to their mothers. In the study, 40 men, all of whom were in relationships, were hooked up to brain scanners. Some were given a dose of oxytocin. The men were then shown pictures of random, attractive women. Among these pictures, a picture of the woman they loved was included. In the men who were given oxytocin, the pleasure and desire regions of their brains lit up like fireworks when they saw the picture of the woman they were in a relationship with. They did not have this reaction when shown pictures of other women, no matter how beautiful, young, and sexy they were. The effect of oxytocin was to neutralize their interest in other women and ignite feelings of explosive passion when they saw their partner. The brains of these men who had been given oxytocin resembled those of an addict who craves a fix and will do anything to get their hands on their drug. Well, I came up with a set of specific techniques that any woman can use to trigger these same chemical urges and desires in a man whenever she wants, to create the same instant release of this incredibly pleasurable and addictive love chemical that will make a man simply look at you and feel bonded forever. I call it the Monogamy Method. Although there are other books and courses and experts out there who claim to know how to make a man fall for you, the Monogamy Method is the only course that is backed